Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Sanders, and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today, I want to talk about in this little vest pocket video we have, is a watchmaker named Ludovic Ballouard. And Ballouard's story is very interesting. He was moved to Geneva back in 1998 and went to work for Frank Mueller, and he stayed there for about 3 years. Then in 2000, he went to work at F.P. Journe. Now, the important thing about that is that in 2000, this was just a year after that F.P. Journe got started with his company, and Ludovic went to work on one of the most important watches and probably one of the most complex watches F.P. Journe made, and that was the Sonore Souverain. And so this was, he's got very strong background. Then in 2009, he decided to start his own company, and this was just outside of Geneva, where he decided to go to work on that. And I don't know if you remember or not, but 2009 was a pretty rough year economically. The world was sort of all of these defaults and all kinds of problems that had come up because of certain economic decisions. So he decided that the world was sort of upside down, so he made an upside down watch called the Upside Down. And this watch was, when you look at it, just looks like, what a dumb thing to do, but it's really interesting. And this is what I like about Ballouard's work. They're ingenious and brilliant. They really are. Now, when you look at this, you see these upside down numbers and a single big hand, other than the small seconds down around above 6 o'clock. The way the watch works is that when a new hour comes up, it flips it over to the right side. And so like right now, it's 9 o'clock because the 9 is right side up, plus there's a little dot next to it. So it's all of the numbers stay where they are. They just flip from one side to the other. Now, from one position or orientation to another. Now, when you look at the movement on this thing, you can see that there are 12 little, what do you call them? He didn't call them Maltese cross. He called them something. They look like little Maltese crosses. The cross of Malta, I think is what he referred to them as. And the movement. Now, this is, of course, he did the movement himself, and it's pretty brilliant movement. This is not your typical, you got your gear train and everything where you expect it to be, but this watch really has to be different in order to do what Ballouard wanted it to do. And so that's one of the ones he has. This one is 3 hertz, and it's got about 36 hours hand wound. This has got just talent, just sort of all over that you can just look at it and you can see something really is unique and different about this. Now, he has 2 watches. This is all that he makes, these 2 different watches. One's the Upside Down, and the other one is equally interesting. It's called the Halftime. Now, when you look up at 12 o'clock, it's showing 9 o'clock, okay? And we know that because there's 1X is 9 in Roman numerals, but you look at the other ones and they're all broken up. What this watch does is so cool. When the time changes, up at the top, in the little bracket up at the top, little window at the top, the numbers, the Roman numerals come together using the bottom half and the top half. That's why it's called halftime. And then they squirm together, and then they have a correct Roman numeral time. So the next one that comes up, there'll just be an X up there. And so this is really cool. And then he has a retrograde minute at the bottom. Again, you have this thing, by the way, is 85,000 Swiss francs. That's in rose gold, and platinum it costs more. 41 millimeter, and they come in platinum or red gold. That's it. But you'll see in a second some other things that they do. Here's what the movement looks like. Again, it's hand wound, looking nothing like a typical watch where you can see the gear train and everything else. This is something very different about this watch. And you can tell just by looking at the movement. And it's 35 hours, and again, it's 3 hertz. Now, what Ludovic Ballouard does is that, not only can you get sort of the ones, I don't want to call them off the shelf because they're all handmade, but he has all of these different kinds of combinations. You want something, you want it in Arabic Hindu, he's got that for you. But here's the thing, is that when you look at Arabic Hindi, you look at Chinese, and the one on the top right is from the Thai King. They had a special one for that. All of these numbers and all of these different configurations, Chinese, Arabic Hindi, and Thai, they all have numbers that have to come together, but the only time they're together is at their correct hour. It's just brilliant kind of stuff. Anyway, and of course you can get it in any color you want and so forth. But so he does everything. He does the case, you name it. In the lower right, you can see this case with a figure on it, and and you can see all of the engraving around the case too. Anything you want. Really interesting watchmaker, somebody to know about, and I'd like to hear what you have to say, what you think about this. And until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Side, the Art and Science of Watch Collection. Always an invitation to subscribe if you'd like.